Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here. For today, what can I say? We're having an incredible super evening because she's back. The amazing, the incredible, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, and you know what? Screw it, even a superhero at this point. Jamie, how are you today?
Dude, I'll never get over that. I'll never get over the beautiful, lovely intro that you always give me. And I really appreciate taking the time to talk to a wonderful, patient, intelligent, and sweet person as yourself.
Well, thank you so much for making this happen. I mean, I wouldn't be having an incredible super evening right now if it wasn't for you. Know what I mean?
Thank you.
What else can I be asking?
Yeah, for me and Audrey.
There you go. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. Helps a lot, but also in the description below, you should find all of Jamie's social media. By this point, you should know why she's super badass. In case you're not, well, you're gonna probably discover it again with this chat. Now, without further more, let's jump in. So for today, we have spoke about your career in the first episode, and we spoke about how the entertainment industry would be in the next 10 years. But since Christmas is coming, New Year's as well, I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about how was 2020.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with that being said, I will start with the first question, which is basically this past year has been like a huge roller coaster, right? So, how was 2024 shape you both personally and professionally?
Starting with a big one, I see 2024, sort of looking back on everything, for me, professionally, things shifted from, at the end of 24, the last time we talked, I was on a movie set in Brazil, and that was quite a highlight of my career the last 3 months of 2023, to go from 2 feature films back to back, top of the call sheet, to then this year starting, I wanted to take things slow. I wanted to take a little break from, just everything going on, and just sort of get back to my life living in Los Angeles. And so from the start of the year, I kind of took things slow and then wanted to really get back into everything, all things creative and whatnot. I really had a period of readjusting back to life in Los Angeles. But then with everything going on, and I think as actors, we've all been sort of feeling this general sense that the industry has had quite a bit of stagnancy over the last year. A lot of actors that I've talked to as well are like, well, I got an audition, 1 audition last month, or maybe 3 at the most, which is like, if that's great, if you're lucky. I think this last year has been a giant shift for a lot of the vertical short form content world, and that's not a world that I usually prescribe to or work in, but it's what I see a lot online for casting. I did a lot of commercial work, which was a lot of fun, and we can talk about that more. And as far as like my personal life goes, I think it was a big year of clearing out stuff that isn't really serving me or my goals or what I want in my life. And it's been a nice sort of year of refinement. And so I've really, really enjoyed that. I turned 27 this year, so I feel like I'm now entering my late 20s and sort of calming down a little bit from the, early 20s Jamie. And yeah, that's sort of like, I guess, 2024 in a hollow nutshell.
I like it. Sounds pretty cool. I think we all go through that specific time in which we started questioning ourselves, the relations we have, either with friends, family, and sometimes not to sound rude or anything, but sometimes you kind of have to let go,
Yeah.
and of course it sucks, and it's sometimes might be a little bit challenging, but I think at the same time it's part of the whole experience for you to somehow become the better version you're supposed to be, and whenever you are like try to avoid those signals that life is giving you, or you try to say no, I'm not gonna do that, life will be pushing you even farther. You know what I mean? It's like I said this the other day, that no matter how much we can try to change things, it's like sometimes life has already prepared everything for us. Like the whole stage, everything is good to go for you to just take it in. But if you don't, you will be forced with life lessons here and there to switch it up to the path you're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you try to control too many elements at once, or try to control people or situations, it will tend to lead to unhappiness because there are so many things that are out of your control.
Totally.
And I think that you do really do have whatever is in your vicinity of your control. That's what you can control, and that can bring you joy. Everything else you have to just let go because people are out of your control. Situations are sometimes out of your control. Um, and that's helped me find a lot of sort of like peace in
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, at the end it's your life, right? And I think we all
Mhm.
deserve to live it the way we want, you know, and how we want to. And if on the process some hard decisions will be made, I think the best way you can take things is to be like, you know what?
Mhm.
It's part of the journey, part of the experience. It sucks, sure, but you know, just the way it is. Was there like a particular role or project in 2024 that left a lasting impact on you?
The one project that I got to really dig my teeth into recently, we just shot it last. Oh, this is actually this is a crazy story. I worked with I've worked this year particularly. I shot a lot of proof of concepts and short films. I shot two proof of concepts, um, actually three. Yes, three. And in one of those projects, I met a great producer. His name's Steve, lovely human being. And he asked me if I wanted to join onto his horror sci-fi thriller film. It's called Crystallos. And I signed on as the lead. I got to sort of help with the casting of the male lead, which was a lot of fun. I worked with a wonderful actor named Joey Hayworth. And we were supposed to film in September, early September. And we go up to Big Bear, Lake Arrowhead area, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of LA up in the mountains. And as we're driving up the hill to get to the project, this has nothing to do with the actual project itself. I'll get to that. But as we're driving up the hill, I noticed there was a fire in the distance. And I was like, oh, looks like kind of a big fire, but didn't really think anything of it. We get up to set, we shoot one whole day, and we get a notice that the fire is growing. And then and then the next day we're keeping an eye on it and we notice there's ash coming out of the sky. And then all of a sudden there's electrical storms, thunder and lightning and rain, which happens when there's so much smoke in the air that it just changes the weather entirely. And so this fire that started as a small brush fire had grown from about 700 acres on the first day to about, I think, 20,000 acres by day two. And so our producers were like, we're just keeping an eye on everything. And once the next town over evacuated, we said, pack it up, we're getting out of here. And so we had to evacuate for that project. But then we did end up picking things up in November. Um, it was just the first time I'd ever worked on a film that got completely shut down. And it definitely kind of all bonded us in the sense that we started something, we had a really great footing and things, and then just had to completely cut it off after 2 days. So that was quite an experience, one that I will never forget. Um, and then other than that, when we got back to shooting in November, it was a great project, so much fun. Um, I said after the project that I did in Brazil, the Fox Sisters, which is coming out sometime next year.
Mhm.
After I did that film, I really wanted to do an action film, and with this film, Chrysalis, I got to do a lot of stunt work, and there's also some really great makeup by our incredible makeup artist Robert Bravo, and it was just a really fun film. It was a totally different character from what I'm used to playing. If you've ever seen, have you seen The Shining?
Mhm.
So I like to call it a sci-fi version of The Shining.
Right.
Couple uh, who's working on their relationship goes to a cabin in the woods to work on things, and all of a sudden the cosmos intervene. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So that definitely had a lasting impact on me this year.
Mm. I like it. And the industry has faced many shifts recently, right? So how have you adapted to these changes? And what stood out most, yeah, like what stood out the most about this year landscape?
I definitely, I kind of mentioned it very briefly at the beginning, but at the start of the year, I want to say the first 6 months of the year, there was still a good amount of, as far as where I am with my acting career, I'm a SAG eligible actress. Um, I've had many auditions for SAG projects, but I also audition and work non-union jobs. It's where I am. It's where I'm at my level. And most of those casting calls are on Actors Access. And I would definitely notice in the first 6 months of the year, there were a decent amount of, your run of the mill episodics, commercials, student films, and then around summertime, I started noticing a really large influx of what I've seen as vertical short form content. And I have been, admittedly, have been off of TikTok for like the last 2 years almost. I was just getting really addicted to it, and I wanted to kind of cut it out. But I had to ask my friends, I'm like, what is this like vertical short form? And I actually ended up going in for an audition in person and have auditioned for a couple since, but it's almost like they're these like AI generated scripts, or they're just these really like romance scripts. They have a lot of sexy scenes in them, and people love them. Like that's the thing, is that people love them, and they're on TikTok, and they show you maybe the first like couple minutes of the movie, and then you have to pay, like, I don't know what it is, a couple cents or a dollar or whatever. Again, I haven't seen it, but to like keep watching the movie. And they make, whatever companies are doing them, they're popping up all over, are making so much money doing this. And from what I've talked to friends, I've talked to people who have worked on crews for this. They say it's they're like churning these things out for anywhere between like $20,000 and $100,000, and they're making like so much money on them because people just need to know what happens. I've auditioned for a couple. I have not booked any, but a part of me has just sort of agreed to stop auditioning for them because it's not the work that I want my name to be attached to necessarily
Hmm.
down the line. No matter how much people like them, it's just like a quality of work that I don't know if I want to, yeah, be a
Mm.
part of. But hey, if it's employing the industry, if people are making a living doing it, then all power to them. Make your coin however you can, and no tea, no shade against any of the people who work on the projects. It's just not something that I can do. But since it has become such a big part of the industry, I'm just curious to see down the line, like what else is going to come of this. Will it go union? Like, will people, I know Quibi was that vertical short form before TikTok existed, and now I feel Quibi was just like ahead of its time, and now people are really doing it and making a lot of money doing it. So who knows how like big it's going to get. As far as me, I want to keep auditioning for uh projects that are union, that are protected, and that work on a professional sets. I worked on a lot of great stuff this year, though. Feeling like I'm sowing the seeds for a lot of stuff, future projects, and just sort of in a space of waiting for the other projects that I have shot to come out.
Mm.
That's why it's felt like, well, even though I have worked and I shot a whole movie last month, it still has felt sort of like a slower year compared to last year.
Mm.
But you know, it is what it is, and like I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
happy with it. Yeah,
I actually didn't know that. That is kind of mind blowing.
yeah,
Here hasn't landed. Has it? Yeah, here that hasn't landed yet. But
mhm,
it's inevitable that at some point. I mean, it
yeah,
happens all the time. Something happens in the U.S. Something trendy
yeah,
happened in the U.S. Couple of months, probably years, months.
yeah,
Couple of months later, they it comes here. So
yeah.
yeah, I didn't
I
know
mean,
that.
and all that to say, though, besides like that's a very small portion of what's going on in the industry. I mean, there's so much going on right now. I really think right now because of the rise of social media and how much is impacting the film and TV industry as I grew up knowing it. I think there's a lot of sort of restructuring, reframing of I know a lot of agencies have been changing the way that they do things. A lot of layoffs have been happening at big studios. That being said, stuff's, still coming out. We've had giant box office things like Wicked and Gladiator recently, that were just incredible. I mean, they're great movies. So the studio stuff will still always exist. I'm hoping that down the line, and I watched a great interview with one of the heads over at IATSE, which is the union for the crew, essentially, the set designers, builders, all of that stuff. Um, where he says maybe, rather than making a $200 million movie, they can make 20 $10 million movies or 10 $20 million movies. Um, like I hope maybe in this next era of movie making that we kind of can maybe go back to, you know, smaller budgets or taking risks on new filmmakers. Because you never know when you could have a box office hit.
Mm,
And
totally.
it feels like people are going to the movie again. That's kind of what it's also felt like a little bit. Kind of. I mean, to me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
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 Hmm.
Do you think
Interesting.
otherwise?
No, I do agree. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing that I'm hoping, and I think we spoke, yeah, I think we spoke about that in the previous chat, is the fact that stop with remakes.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah, yeah,
If you want
yeah.
to throw a new story, go for it. I like it. Take the risk. Should be fun. Might hit, might not hit, but hey, at least you are giving the opportunity for something new to it, and just be done with remakes.
Yeah.
Which somehow, at least for this year, there wasn't too much remakes as previous years. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're cool. I like it because yeah, I mean, I want to see like new stories. And yeah, I want to see new stories. I think
Mhm.
that is the thing that I do appreciate more if they manage to take a risk. For
Mhm.
example, some yeah like 2 weeks ago, a coworker recommended me about this TV show on Netflix called Arcane, right? And I was like, "What is it?" And then he was
Oh my
like,
God. You've never seen it?
"Here's the thing. Here's the thing." So let me tell you the story. Yeah. So I was like, Arcane. It's like, yeah, you should watch it. And I was like, really? And,
Oh
and then he
yeah.
was like, "You're gonna love it." And I was like, "How so?" And then he kind of told me like a little bit about the story, but I was like, "But it's an animated, right?" And then he was like, "Yeah, it's an animated." And I was like, "Okay, I might
Don't
see
worry
it."
about it.
But he told me as well that it's based on some characters from this video game called League of Legends, something like that. And I heard about that game, so I was like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
take a risk. So then it was a Friday. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna take the risk, right? It was like around 10 p.m. It's like, let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Few hours pass. Guess what? It's 4 a.m. and I'm still watching it. Got me super hooked to it. I was like, okay, this is brilliant. I love it.
Brilliant.
And then season two was there already. I was like, I'm gonna watch it too. So my whole weekend I didn't do anything because I basically was watching the whole show because I was like,
Uh-huh.
and that's a problem with me. I mean, I'm dangerous on TV shows because I easily
Uh-huh.
get this need of binge watch, and I will watch everything on it. I'm like all at once, right? So I watch everything. Then I told to this guy like, "Hey, I loved it." And then he was like, "Dude, you need to watch season two." And I'm like, "Season two? I already finished it." And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's done." And yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
The whole thing, I loved it. It
That's
was
a
like
good show.
the whole animations to it are beautiful. The colors to it, the story. I was uh I was watching this video yesterday about like the whole character creation of the thing, and they were saying in this video that I was watching that on this show it was one of the yeah, like this show, it's one of the few that type of projects when we get the chance to really have female characters who are that exactly how they become, and if like you get the chance to really have like the full picture to it on how they are the way they are, and if they are powerful, it's because this happened, and that happened, and if that happened, like they. like they
Yeah.
cover everything to it. And I was like, interesting, because it is true. So I was like, I like it. It was beautiful, that show.
What did you think of the ending?
Oh, you know,
It was gut wrenching. Gut wrenching.
but it hit me more when, and screw it, I'm gonna throw spoilers here. It's it hit
Okay,
me.
spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If
Yeah,
you want
yeah,
to see Arcane, which you absolutely should watch Arcane, skip ahead. Skip ahead. This is a
yeah.
spoiler warning.
Skip ahead a few minutes. You know what?
I'm like a spoiler police. I don't like spoilers and I want, I don't watch trailers for things because I don't want to be spoiled. That's how bad I am. Yeah.
Interesting. I have an idea. I'm
Okay.
gonna so right now on the video it's gonna appear a spoiler alert thing either on the left or in the right, whatever. So then people can
Perfect.
know we're talking about spoilers, and then so they can skip ahead. And if that thing is gone, then it means that we finished spoilers. What do you think?
Perfect.
Sounds
Perfect.
good, right? Anyway,
Okay.
so here we go. So for season one, I loved it. Hit me. The last episode for season one was incredible. I loved it. Like the whole TV, yeah, like the whole thing was great, right? When and then season two, then this new character appeared, this little girl Isha.
Oh,
Man, when she died, I actually kind of tear up a little bit. I was like, ugh,
no.
because I love
It's,
the character. He was really cool, so it hit me, but it hit me like like super hard. I was like, man, come on.
I know. It was tough. It was tough. And then like everything with the hive mind and Victor becoming so obsessed over that thing and then I don't know, like there were just so many I want to say like episode 7. Sorry, we're going to go on a whole Arcane tangent just cuz I love that show.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Episode 7 was like a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible. I like it might be one of my favorite episodes of television. I mean, the finale was badass too. Like I do love this show too because when you think about it, it's so female dominated. Passes the Bechdel test, flying colors. Like it's just an incredible show of uh, just badass chicks who also have incredible flaws. Like I think one of the things that we're lacking, and I'm sorry if this is like, anti woke of me to say, but we are lacking women with like major flaws in things, it's too easy for them to win sometimes and it makes them more one dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to see that they are flawed people because it's more interesting, you know. I don't want to watch just a winner make it to the end, like it's boring.
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
It's
You
like,
you want,
yeah,
yeah,
there were
you
so
want
many
to.
times where I was like, where did they fail? You know what I mean? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
it's
that
cool.
is like one of the things that I did enjoy the most. That totally it's a female character, 100% show, but it's great. I was like, this is exactly the type of thing that I want. If you're gonna put female characters to it, and if they are super badass, sure, but show me why they're badass. Don't suddenly they're badass because the power of the script. No, 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 no. Give me something to it. Give me some juice to it. And it's true because they are badass, but they have a lot of flaws, and you can see them there. And it's true. I think like whenever that happened, it's like when you get like that connection to it, and at the same time you feel kind of related somehow. Even if it's a female or male or whatever. It's actually like the whole story. They made it great. I was hooked to it because since episode one, I was like, okay, well, let's see, let's see what the fuss is about. Since episode one, you see everything going to shit, and you're like, okay, this is good, and like the whole thing to it, and then you have Powder that in order to save his family, his dad, make a whole mess to it, ended up killing everyone, and
And then
then
he's just haunted by trauma like the whole time.
you have and then time passed, and then you have Jinx now, which has like this desperation that she doesn't want to be alone. That she has like this really, really, yeah, that she desperate for care. And yeah, like the whole thing to it was amazing. I mean, it was a mix of feelings here, but as I said, like the animations were incredible because you sometimes we will say, I think it was in season 2, episode 1, when we get the chance to see animations but drawn by hand, well, at
It's
the
so
funeral
cool.
to it. like the whole switch they are making there. I was like, this is incredible. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm gonna blow your mind just a little bit. When the first season was coming out,
Hmm.
uh, in 2021, so this was 3 years ago, I was a part of a month-long immersive experience to promote the TV show in Los Angeles
Okay.
called Arcane Enter the Undercity. And it was a live immersive show that you would walk in and you would be in Piltover, and then a door would open and you would walk along the bridge to enter Zon, the Undercity. And it would we had these screens, and it would play like the first couple episodes, like the first couple minutes, just kind of drop you into the world, the explosion, like, Vander dying, all of that. And then you would enter the Undercity, and it was just like badass and tough, and like a bunch of characters, Silco, Jinx, and I got to play Miss Vi.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
That's so badass.
Dude, I'm not
That's
kidding you. This show had such like a profound impact on me
hmm
because I the cast was just so incredibly talented, and we had an amazing director who just was so great at guiding everybody, and people were writing all their storylines. We improved so much of that show with the audience, and fans would show up dressed up to the nines, and they would interact with us, and people just loved being there and in the world because they had played the game for like 10 years.
hmm
And it was like such a life-changing role. Like I it's one of my favorite things I've ever done.
I
Truly. It was
didn't know
incredible.
that.
Like
That
we
is
I mean I
incredible.
mean this is terrible, but we had the last drop. Like this is our whole cast. Um yeah. Yeah. We kind of did like side by sides with Jinx and
That's
Vi.
so cool.
Yeah. I
That's
mean there's a
badass.
couple like YouTubers online that posted videos you might be able to find, like influencers and stuff. But
I'm gonna honor that. You know, I saw
yeah.
I saw yesterday an interview with the I think it was the executive producer or the director or the writer. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
but they asked him like, "Hey, why only 2 seasons when people is begging for more?" And then he was like, "Well, we wanted to do since the start to have like a 2 season show because we didn't want to become this type of show that has a lot of seasons coming up. We want to make two, great." And I was like,
Precisely.
and and
And
and and it was great because yeah, 2 seasons I think it's great. But you know what? And I was speaking about that yesterday. I would have loved if they could have done an episode more, you
yeah,
know,
I agree. I
just
agree.
one
They could
more,
have. That's it. Yeah, just yeah. They could have slowed down just a tiny bit, but
because the last episode is like this huge fight going on. Then you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like if you're not catching up with everything, at some point you might sleep something. So I
yeah,
was like, okay. So I was like, it would have. I mean, it's great. I loved it. Definitely it's an 11 out of 10 for sure.
yeah,
But yeah, probably like one episode more would have been good. Sure, good
yeah.
for. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's like a pretty. I've said for the longest time, like Game of Thrones has been my favorite show, but Arcane really gives it a run for its money.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. It became
Yeah, and
definitely
maybe
my
because I
top.
have such a personal connection to it, playing such a beloved character, and getting to tell her story. And it also, like, I lost my dad passed away 5 years ago. And so when I watched, it would have been season one, episode three with when Vander dies,
Oh.
I got it. You know what I mean? Like that when I watched that episode, that's when I knew. I was like, this show is gonna rock the world. This show like is doing something so extraordinary and so well and so unique. Yeah. I and that's what happens when you give really creative people time and a little bit of money. Like
hmm
the biggest thing is time and not rushing stuff just so you can put it out. Like take your time with it. and make it beautiful and don't drag it out if you don't have to.
Totally. I think it
Yeah,
took like what,
less
like
is
9 years?
more.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing here. That I think this type of shows are is like a lesson
Mm,
to to as you said, the fact that take your time. Don't rush things. Take your whole time to it. For example, I mean, we kind of see it as well with the Deadpool and Wolverine film, right?
mhm.
They took a hell of a time to create it. It was an incredible film. People loved it, and I don't care, I don't care if it's gonna take 10 years, 9 years, but if you're gonna make it right, take all the time you need, because like suddenly sometimes I think that we came into this era that we have like this incredible amount of content that is being released daily, and it's overwhelming sometimes, and sometimes
Totally.
that might not be well done,
Mhm.
because of the rush, and you can totally tell. We all have seen TV shows or films that whenever we are watching them, you're like, dude, this totally feel rushed. This is
Yeah.
totally that you lose connection to it, and with Arcane, for example, it got me hooked the whole time. I mean, it got me even more hooked than, for example, Breaking Bad. That is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I was like, this got me more hooked to it, like the whole connection to it and everything. And like the soundtrack. The soundtrack was amazing. I suddenly became addicted to soundtracks of films or TV shows.
Yeah.
And this one, I was like, this is on spot as well. Like everything was really on spot. It was beautiful. So.
Yeah. 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 It's just it's a masterpiece. It really is a masterpiece. And that's another cool part about that show too, is that I when you watch as much content as we do, we get used to some of the tropes and sort of what to expect. That show, I never knew what was coming.
Mhm.
Never couldn't even guess. Like
Mhm.
it was just always what the hell is going to happen next.
Hmm. The last episode, I did think that Jinx survived for sure. I mean, we're definitely gonna have another TV show with Jinx again. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's some hints to it. I'm actually rewatching it again because I was like, you know what,
Good,
I'm gonna watch
good.
it again. Yeah, yeah,
It's so
and
good.
and it's
And it's so
amazing,
short, like you can blitz through the episodes, yeah.
totally. But it's amazing because when you watch it the second time, you can see things that you didn't saw the first time you watched it. Like details, on the script, on the dialogue, or something that happened that you totally missed it the first time. And I'm like, interesting. But yeah, definitely, I'm super sure that I don't know. In we're gonna have like another story with Jinx again. Who knows? But
Yeah, or just
yeah,
or just like other worlds in the world,
yeah, yeah. If
Like
they did, if they do it like that, I'm
these,
down.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
Totally.
curious to meet the other characters. That would be such a dream to work on voiceover wise.
Hmm.
That would be special.
Yeah. Plus the cast for the voice acting was I didn't know that
Fantastic.
that the actress who played Jinx was the same who played Lucy in Fallout. Definitely one of the best, or if not the best, animated shows of all time for sure at this point. So yeah,
I'm glad we had that arcane tangent.
totally, totally. Now, getting back on track here a little bit. Tell me,
Back on track.
looking back at the journey, how do you feel you'd evolve as an actor compared to where you started?
Hmm. I would say I'm having more patience with the process as far as getting scripts and taking my time to work on them and dissect them and and getting full pictures of the story and how do I serve the story as a whole. Um I used to think, back, growing up and stuff and being just focusing on the acting part too, you get so into the character and the character is so important and building the character is so important, but it's how does the character also serve the story? Um that's what it really comes down to in essence. And I've been very privileged in the couples the things that I've worked on this year that have kind of expanded and pushed me. One character I played a sociopathic girl trying to doing whatever it takes to achieve fame. That was one of proof of concepts that I did. The other one was a prostitute with a heart. That was a lot of fun. The other one was a bride that has to deal with her father on her wedding day. Um, I also got to play the character in Crystalos, Shay, who starts off completely lost and not knowing how to embrace change and comes to find strength in change and moving on and taking the steps forward. So it's been a great year. It's been a really fun year of different characters and getting to play them and um, dabbled in the romance department a little bit with a web series project that's on YouTube. I can actually send you the link if you want to like link it down below. But patience with the process too, and trusting the process as well. It can sometimes feel if you're not working on something every day, which no actor is on set every day unless you're on a soap or a series regular. Um, just trusting the process, just trusting the process. That's been
Mm.
the biggest like help this year. Yeah.
And how did this year challenge or reaffirm your connection to the art?
Hmm. That's a great question, actually. I feel like in a way, even though I've had patience and time and connected with characters, understanding the relationship between art and business has developed and grown for me a lot. Figuring out how projects are made has been really interesting, and all the moving pieces that go into filmmaking because I grew up so much in the theater world where everything was kind of put it together as we go. And then once it's on and it's moving and it's working. With film, you do so much prep by yourself and then you show up and everybody's doing their own thing and you just have to kind of focus on your own thing and also sort of help with other moving pieces. But it's just a really, it's as far as like the art form of acting or just the art form of filmmaking, I've been so interested with like the business side as well. Because it takes two to tango. It is show business. And so understanding those elements of filmmaking, producing particularly has been really interesting to me.
Mm.
So yeah, yeah. I think
I like it.
I'm really trying to diversify more than just only call myself an actor. Like I think producing is super interesting or even directing down the line. I've done it in the past, but doing it even in a stronger capacity has been fun.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the whole experience, right? To get the chance to kind of expand yourself like a little bit more, and not to stay
Yeah.
only in one niche, to be able to,
Yeah. I mean, you have some
right?
of the like, biggest women in the industry, like Margot Robbie and Reese Witherspoon, that have their own production companies as well. And I think
Totally.
that's fantastic. I think that's really cool. And I know a lot of other women in my age group are doing a similar thing as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I like
Uh,
that.
and it's great the fact that they are that it's women like that who are kind of raising the hand. You know what I mean? To kind of showing themselves
Mhm.
like, hey, we can create this, we can get this done. And I think it's also great because it shows also the chance to girls out there who wants to pursue acting as well, that they can get the chance to go for it, and not to be like, what's the word here that I'm looking, and not to be put in a specific section to it. That is now, because of the whole thing that has been changing, which is great, that you can now have the chance to expand yourself. Not to only acting, you can have like your own production company, directors, whatever. So
And
yeah.
acting is always such a fulfilling um, play for me. Like it's so much fun. I love it. And with acting, you are one of the vessels for the story, but I think looking at production side too, you're the hand that's piecing it together and getting all those creatives to work together to create the thing, which is kind of an art form in itself. Like, not only is there the fundraising and the money and like that, all of that, like logistics stuff, which is also cool, but there is like, you have to creatively build the team, your actors, your DP, your director, your lighting, all of that stuff, your costume designers, all of that is equally important for serving the story.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I like it. You know, even though that you have been on the show already 3 times, I'm still discovering why you're super badass. I love it.
Aw, that's very sweet. Thank
I
you.
love it. This is epic. This is epic.
Except I'm not having a phone call.
And tell me, how do you recharge or find inspiration when you're feeling creatively drained?
Watching stuff. As as that sounds so cheesy, but I love getting inspired by what's being made out in the world, and especially shows like Arcane. Um, would just watch a really great movie called My Old Ass with Aubrey Plaza and this young actress that I've never even heard of before. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she was brilliant. And it was just a really sweet movie. And it just sort of reminded me, oh, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I love storytelling. Um, it was a beautiful film. Yeah, watching other people get to excel and shine, um, whether it's on the screen or on stage, it's beautiful. It's that really lights me up and gets me wanting to uh, push myself and dig deeper into my characters for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And
And
yeah,
sorry,
no,
one
no,
other thing.
go for it. Go for it. Go
One
for it.
other thing too. One of my big things this year was that I was really trying to read more. Um, I feel like I've always watched, a lot of stuff in the past, but reading more has turned off. I mean, I know it seems completely contradicting to watching things, but at least reading stuff, it forces you to use your own imagination. And so I've really gotten into reading a lot of like Emily Henry romance books that are just light and cozy. Started reading the Harry Potter series for the first time. I know I'm 27, but it's my friend Emma told me she wanted to start reading it from the beginning, and I said, "Let's go." And like, we're 27 years old and reading Harry Potter. But there's a young girl that we also know that is also in the book club. She's 5. Her name's Belle. So yeah, started reading a lot more, which has forced the imagination a lot more,
Hmm.
and it's inspiring. It's inspiring.
Yeah, totally. And the fact that you're reading Harry Potter right now, it's pretty cool because now, since with the films, when you are reading the characters, you can totally picture them now, which I think sometimes it's a lot easier somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know, yeah, and I haven't seen. I can't remember the last time I watched all of the movies all the way through. It probably was about a year or two ago, but it's also been a while too, and you forget little details. And everybody I talk to says, "Oh, the books have so much more detail in them
Yeah,
than
of
the
course.
movies." And I said, "Okay, okay, I know. You can't fit 500 pages into 2 hours of movie. I get it. Like, it's okay. Things have to
Totally,
get cut."
totally, totally.
Yeah.
And it's basically in every movie that is based on a book happens every time. It's just you
Every
know,
time. Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
I like it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And tell me, if your 2024 were a movie,
Oh.
what would it be called, and what genre would it fall under?
Oh. Hmm. I really should have thought of this one before coming on the show. Because it's hard to think back on all of the memories. There's been a lot of great highs of this year, as well as, some low moments. But I would call the movie Along for the Ride, which is probably already a title somewhere, but I would call it Along for the Ride. And the genre would be a coasting slice of life indie drama
Okay. Hmm.
that is just very sometimes just giving a view of the simple life.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's hard to explain. I couldn't put it in the action genre. I couldn't put it in the horror genre. I wouldn't put it in the sci-fi drama genre or anything. But I would put it as a sweet slice of life movie.
Okay. And rated? What would it be
Rated
rated?
PG-13.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We go there. We go there.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say rated R or something like that.
Oh no. PG-13. We keep it
Family
PG-13.
friendly, right? Yeah, family friendly.
Maybe
That's what.
maybe some explicit language, maybe some, adult content, but nothing rated R.
Hmm. Okay. So we keep it clean. We keep it family friendly.
Keep it family friendly-ish.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it. That sounds something interesting.
Yeah. Thanks.
And tell me, what's one? 2025. Is coming. So, what's one quirky or unexpected goal you have for the new year?
Oh, I don't even think it's that unexpected, but or maybe even quirky, but my goal is to go to the movie premiere of the Fox Sisters in Brazil with my best friend Sion, who is also in the movie. She's playing my sister, and both of us we would love to go back to Brazil for the film. I'm feeling Brazil sick. It really became like a second home out there, and I met so many wonderful people when I was out there. The people are just so kind, and I would love to do a press tour for Fox Sisters because it we shot it with one of the biggest directors in Brazil. His most recent film, I think, was the sixth highest grossing at the box office in Brazil in January, and so I'm hoping that they'll fly us out, and we can do a press tour, and maybe Sion and I will pull some inspiration from the Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande press tours of like holding hands during the interviews and being real sisters and get to see our third sister Marie.
Hmm.
That would be my hope and dream. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds exciting. I like
I've
it.
never done a press tour for a film that I've worked on, so that would be something really special.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely a goal.
And how could you sum up your whole 2024, but in a single line?
Hmm.
What would it be?
Good things come to those who wait.
Okay.
That's what I'd say.
Hmm. It's deep. I like it. Has like a message on it.
Yeah. It's a very common phrase that we use in America, actually.
Huh.
Good, good things come to those who wait.
And tell me, as I was saying before, Christmas is coming, New Year. What are some of your typical, like, what Jamie do on Christmas, basically?
What does Jamie do for Christmas?
What is your usual routine for Christmas? I'm curious.
Oh my God, you have no idea, Dan, the amount of Christmas that I bring. My mom, first off, loves Christmas, and she also sells vintage Christmas items. So she'll go to auctions, estate sales, and all that stuff. And she'll find these amazing pieces and she'll repost them online. Um, turning for a profit, of course. So Christmas has always been like part of my life for for a long time. So just starting a couple years ago, I started working at the Christmas tree farm down the street. as a like, a side gig. And I just got back and starting with them again today. And first step is always getting a Christmas tree. So that's step number one is getting the Christmas tree, decorating it, putting up all the stockings, and then setting up my Christmas village.
Okay.
So I have about four different buildings, and I put out like the fake snow and set up my little Christmas village with my little pieces and figurines and stuff. Um, and then at least go ice skating once. Go ice skating once and go out to see Christmas lights. Always on the list.
Mm,
Gotta go somewhere. And my boyfriend and I started doing this last year. Um, the Grove, which is a really beautiful shopping center in Los Angeles, they have fake snow and a Santa out there, and so we always go and like see the fake snow, and it's just really cute.
interesting. I like
It
it.
it'll never snow in Los Angeles, so the best you can do is go to a shopping center and get fake snow and
Hmm.
see fake snowfall.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I've been there too.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
it. I like it. Now, do you
Oh,
think, huh?
unless I forget to add spending time with family.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Yeah.
of course, of course.
Yeah, that's
This year, my boyfriend and I we've been together for about 7 years, and this year we did Thanksgiving with my mom, and we're doing Christmas with his family.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
Sounds
my
interesting.
second Christmas, and Elton, my cat, is coming too.
There you
So
go.
yeah, yeah, probably a white elephant. Gift exchange will be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you th
What do you do for the holidays?
Well, there used to be a time, and those were the good old days. There used to be a time in which we were like, we will specifically the family of my mom, because the family of my dad, but the family of my mom, we used to. I mean, they used to throw this incredible, huge Christmas parties, but huge parties, fireworks, a lot of food, gifts for everyone. It was amazing, right? And New Year as well. But time passes. Some family members move. Yeah, they basically moved to other countries. Some of them passed away, and things changed. And over the past like what 6 7 years? No, 10 years. Yeah, over the past 10 years, it's more like gathering just with my parents. We will eat something, we will play something, have fun, like super cozy, nothing like nothing too exciting for some people maybe. But I do have a tradition of for myself. I've been doing this for 8 years already, which is every Christmas I will be watching, the usual Christmas film, sure, but there's one specific film that I just watch it one time for Christmas, and then I wait for next year. That's it.
Okay.
And here it is. This might be controversial, but the film is Die Hard.
Ah, I knew you were gonna say Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie.
Right? Thank you.
It's
Thank
incredible.
you. Totally. I mean, it is a
One
Christmas.
of the
It is
best.
a Christmas film, and
One of the best.
you know.
Love
So
it. Sounds like wonderful
yeah.
traditions. I love
So
that story about your brother. That's really great.
mhm. So it's something like that, and
But did you play the baby Jesus?
actually my first, actually my first acting role, I play. Oh my God. Okay, so this is one of those funny ones. So so back in high school, terrible student. I was terrible. So I needed extra points, right? So then the yeah, like the teacher was like, you know what? Either you get extra points somehow, or you're not gonna be able to graduate from high school. So I was like, oh crap, I need the extra points. So then the math teacher was like, hey, I've heard that they need people to play for the Christmas play this year, and I was like, really? Yeah, and they're actually offering points. And I was like, really? How much? Like, how many points? And they were offering a lot of good, reasonable points to it. So I was like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna do it. So then I went there. I was like, I want to do it, and I've never in my life have, So at first they were kind of not sure if I was like a good choice to it, but because I was basically begging to it, I was like, if I don't do it, I'm not gonna graduate. Please, please help me out. So they were like, sure, yeah, we'll give you a role. I was like, yes. So I was like, okay, what role are you gonna give me? And they gave me the role of the the dad of Jesus. I mean, not God, but the other
John.
guy. Huh? I think.
John.
Yeah, I mean, in Spanish has like in Spanish he has a name. The name is anyway. He offered me the role in which when baby Jesus is born, I will be with the Virgin Mary. We will be watching the kid and be like, oh, this is so cool. That was the role, right? That guy. Anyway,
Yeah.
so then I
Nice.
was like, okay, do I have any lines? And then they were like, yes, you do. You have one line. I was like, okay, this is brilliant. I was exciting because I was like, dude, this is gonna be epic. I just need to say one thing, and I have extra points, you know. So I was like, okay. So what is my line? They were like, yeah, well, your line is gonna be, here it is, or here it and here it. Like it was something about that is born, something like that, right? Like something,
Really? Yeah.
so like something between those lines was it? But anyway, so I was like, okay, I got this. So the director of the play was telling me you need to rehearsal, and I was like, rehearsal, I just have one line, how am I gonna be, why should rehearsal? And then he was keep telling me that, like, dude, you actually need to rehearse. And I was like, but it's one line, like who, nobody would rehearse for one line, come on, are you kidding me? So I would use the rehearsal time to to relax, in the yeah, to relax or to not doing anything, right? I was
Right.
like, just one line, come on.
Come on.
So the day happened. The play was the play happened in school. The school was packed. Everyone was there. Everyone. So I was like, okay, so this is it. So I was like, okay, cool, cool. Then
Uh,
we went to the, we went to the costumes to check the costumes and everything, and they gave me a rope, but the problem was that the rope was incredibly huge, but super huge. So in order for me to walk, I needed to kind of uplift it like a little bit so I can walk, because it was incredibly long to it. So I couldn't kind of walk properly. But I was like, is there a way we can work this out? And they were like, no, this is it. Either you do it or you don't. But if you don't, you fail. I was like, yeah, so I'll do it. So they put all the makeup to it. I put the rope, this huge rope. I mean, it was incredibly long, but anyway. So then it was time for my scene, right? And I remember this, and I remember like super vividly, like it happened yesterday. Um, so then when they're on stage, right? Everyone was watching the silent moment. I appear, and then baby Jesus was born, and then the play was for me to say the line and not look at the crowd. Just say the line like looking like, oh, this is amazing, like, but don't look at the crowd. I look at the crowd.
oh my gosh.
So I turned and then I look at the crowd and then I said, here it is. But as I was turning, the rope got stuck into my feet and
No.
I fell.
No.
I fell where baby Jesus was lying, which which it was a toy, by the way. Uh, I fall there
On stage.
on stage, ended up breaking the whole this scenario they had to it, like with like the cradle, like that cradle was it. I ended up breaking it. Um,
No.
the baby was kind of destroyed. Um, the
Oh my
the girl
God.
the girl who played Virgin Mary was in shock.
Yeah.
And the best thing I could do is that when I did that, I instantly got up fast, like super quick. That happened in Anissa, so I instantly got fast,
Yep.
and then I said another extra line, which was the end. And then people started laughing like you have no idea, like crazy laughing. People love it.
Great.
And then I went backstage like, oh my god, like I can't believe this happened. And of course, the director of the play was super angry at me. He was like, "What the hell?
Oh,
Like what?" He actually, I remember, he was this guy that never said bad words, right? Never swear anything. That time I heard him swear for the first time. He told me, "What the fuck did you did? Like, are you? What the fuck did you do to my play?" And
oh my God.
I was just laughing, and people were laughing, and then you can hear people still laughing about it, right? So
Yeah,
then I was like, "Do you hear that sound? That's a sound of success. So you're welcome." And
correct.
then I left, and they gave me the extra points, so I passed, and that's it. So.
That's great. I love that story.
Mm.
Hey, that's the beauty of live theater, isn't it? You never know what's going to
You
happen.
never know. You never know.
You never know.
But at that point, I was like, you know what? Maybe acting is not my strong forte.
But
Maybe.
hosting is definitely your forte.
And you know what? My final question. So we can all relax after an epic chat here. I think you see this question already coming. So here it is. What do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Ah, a dramatic pause.
Badass.
I didn't mean to take one while I was doing.
A dramatic pause. I like it. Suited perfectly,
I did
you know?
not mean. I didn't mean to have a dramatic
You
pause, but
you had this plan, isn't it?
this is perfect.
Like it. Dramatic pause.
Yeah, dramatic pause.
Hmm.
And you know what? Good things come to those who wait.
There you go.
Yeah.
The end. I love it. And
And
what can I say? The fact that you are keep rocking out there, that's super cool. That's super badass. Every now and then, I will be checking, I will be checking people that I've interviewed in the past to see what they're up to, and to see that you're still rocking out there, you're still shining, you're still showing out there how badass you are. That's incredible. And I think it's people like you in this world that we really need. That besides showing us cool stuff, yeah, epic content, epic stories, you're also showing us that dreams are possible. And I think being hopeful and happy about pursuing something, it's definitely something we need, especially right now in this crazy time that we're facing. So keep doing what you do, keep
thank
shining.
you. Thank you. You're amazing. I really love chatting with you. And everyone who's listening, go watch Arcane.
Yeah, yeah. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna be watching Arcane. Yeah, go watch Arcane, and then come back to see this episode. But also, while you are about to watch Arcane, or between, when the episode's done and you're waiting for the next one, go follow Jamie on her social media. I'm gonna leave in the description below their socials so you can follow her. Let's keep let's keep sharing some love. Let's keep making her viral. Hashtag Team Jamie. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep shining out there. Have an incredible upcoming Christmas, New Year, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Thank you.
All right.